welcome back to a short at-home practice. You won't need any props today unless you want a blanket to pad underneath your knees or a towel if that's more accessible to you. Today's all about moving in new and creative ways to kind of shake us out of our ruts and our habits and get us exploring new ways of moving and being. So we're going to start laying down on our back. So place any cushioning you might have to the side. And just turn so the crown of your head is towards wherever you'd like the top of your mat to be. Go ahead and lay down on your back. And take your feet a little bit wider apart today, maybe towards the long edges of your mat. Let your arms drop loose and wide to the earth with the palms face up. Take a breath in and sigh through the mouth. Close the lips and inhale. And as you exhale, you can drop the knees over towards the left. Turn the soles of the feet to face right. And inhale up. And exhale, switch sides. Knees right, feet left. Inhale up. And repeat. Knees left. Inhale, knees high. Exhale, knees right. Inhale, knees up. Exhale, knees left, and pause for a second. Let the legs hang out here over on the left side. And if you'd like, you can stretch out the right side by bringing your right arm up towards your cheek. And you can keep that elbow as soft and as bent as it wants to be here. Take a few deep breaths, opening up the right edge of your rib cage, the right waistline, even into the right hip and thigh. And then bring the right arm back down. In your next breath, we'll elevate your knees. And exhale, release them to the right. And we'll pause here for a moment, maybe extending your left arm out above the crown of your head. Again, the arm can be straight or the elbow can be soft. Just allow your body to drape here over the earth. And as you're ready, that arm can come down. And the knees can come up so the soles of the feet flatten on the ground. Go ahead and pick up your feet and draw the knees closed over your heart. You can wiggle a little bit side to side to mobilize your low back. Give yourself a little massage here. And then roll over onto your left and pick up onto your left elbow. If you came off your mat, just kind of scoot back until you have that cushion below you. Left elbow underneath your shoulder, palm flat. Knees will stay bent, but bring the feet back until the heels are in line with your sit bones. Your right hand will be on your upper hip here. We're going to keep the feet connected the whole time, but as you breathe in, lift your right knee up and hinge it towards the ceiling. Soles of the feet will still stay touching. Exhale down. Do that twice more. Just lift your right knee. Don't rock your right hip back. Keep it centered. One more time, awakening and strengthening that right hip. Then bring it down and draw both knees up closer to your tummy. You can bring your top hand down to the earth and lengthen out your right leg. Start to lift those right toes towards the sky. Walk your hands back and shift onto your sit bones so you come up nice and vertical with this right leg away from you. Bring the left arm up towards your cheek. As you exhale, slide down towards that long leg, drawing the belly button up towards your chin. Take a moment here and keep these toes gently pulling back. And then rise up and put your left hand down on the ground. You can drop those tall toes towards the mat and snuggle your knees up alongside each other. And then bring both hands to the ground in front of you. Lift your hips so you're on your knees and then walk your knees back until you're centered on your mat. So inhale, lower the belly and draw the shoulders down your spine. And exhale, lift your belly and press your palms lightly into the mat. Do that twice more. Inhale. And exhale, arch your spine towards the ceiling. Last one, inhale. And last one, exhale. So come to a nice flat back here. Stretch out your right leg behind you. Tops of the toes curled under. Pick your belly button up so your abdomen's just a little hollowed with strength. Raise your right heel up to the hip height. And if you're comfortable, you can stretch your left arm out alongside your cheek. Now you don't have to, this is optional. You can always keep your left hand on the ground, but keep that belly button lifted for a moment. Hug the left hip in. Then bring the left hand down. Bring the right toes down, but keep the leg long. Lift your hips, pick up your left knee, roll over your left toes, and press your hips away from your hands in down dog. Take a breath in and out. You can keep the knees a little soft if that helps you lengthen your spine instead of rounding. Then draw your shoulders forward, draw the crown of your head forward, drop your hips down to the top of the push-up for just a moment, then relax your knees and flatten the tops of your feet. Press your hips down and forward a bit, and then bend the elbows alongside your ribcage so you can come down to your belly. Straighten your elbows out so the hands are on either side of your hips. Press your hips low. Keep your legs long as you raise your feet. Lift your knees off the ground. Lift your hands and head. And come up to balance on your abdomen here. Take a second. And then melt back down to flat. Bring your palms up under your shoulders. Press up to hands and knees. And once you get onto hands and knees, we're going to walk the knees over towards the left. Drop onto your right hip. Come down onto your right elbow. This time the right elbow will be under your right shoulder. Knees bent, heels back aligned with your sit bones, left hand on your top hip here. So keep the arches of your feet connected as 3 times we inhale, lift the left knee. And exhale it down. Twice more, keep the hips in this alignment, don't let them rock. And last one, up. And come down. Drop your hand to the mat and pull your knees up towards your tummy. Stretch your left leg out long behind you. Walk your hands back, start to lift your shoulders. Flip your left toes up. Rotate the top of the thigh and the kneecap towards the ceiling. Left hand on the leg, right arm towards your cheek. Belly up towards the crown of your head and slide down the length of your leg. You can always reach down and wrap your fingers around your big toe if you can get to that point, or just leave your hand anywhere along this leg. Lift up, bring the hand down, lean over onto the right palm, drop those tall toes in and pull the knee up until they're stacked. Both hands to the mat, lift the hips, walk the knees back until they're centered on the mat, and this time it's the left leg that's going to go out long behind you, knee straight, heel up. Breathe in. Exhale, gather your belly button up towards your low back, and then let the heel float up until it's long and horizontal. Stay here, or if you want to add some challenge, the right arm can come up towards your cheek with the thumb towards the ceiling. Keep that belly button lifted the whole time. Lightly press down through your left hand. Release your right hand to the ground. Drop your left toes to the ground, but keep that leg long. Lift your hips, lift your right knee up, roll over your right toes, and stretch the hips away from the palms in down dog. One more breath. And then exhale, roll the shoulders forward, the crown of the head draws towards the top of the mat, relax the knees down, point the toes, press forward through the hips a little bit so they lower, and then bend the elbows on either side of your rib cage to get down to the mat. Arms come back alongside your hips. Press your hips low, raise the tops of your feet and the palms of your hands. Stretch your fingers back towards your heels. Stretch your toes away from you. Another breath. And exhale, relax down onto the ground. Once you get to the ground, you can bring your hands up under your shoulders. Pick the front edge of your body up and walk back to hands and knees. So take the right arm wide to the side, turn your shoulders sideways, drop the arm down, flip to rest on the back of your hands and your knuckles. Now stretch this right arm in between your left wrist and left knee. Bend the left elbow and rest on your shoulder with the arm extended out past the long edge of your mat. Just 2 breaths. And when you're done, you can root down through your left hand. Straighten the left elbow so you have space to withdraw the right arm. Out and up. Back down, and we'll repeat on the left side. Left arm up, turn the shoulders sideways. Exhale the arm down, palm will flip up, slide the hand under the belly, Bend the right elbow and land on your left shoulder and cheek. Keep the hips over your knees. Take a moment here. Maybe one last breath. And then ground down through the hand in front of your gaze. Straighten the elbow, lift your shoulders. Withdraw the left arm, tip sideways. Bring the hand down. Walk the hands forward onto your belly one more time. Palms stacked, let the elbows wing out to the sides. Rest your head on the back of your hands. Take your feet out a little wider towards the corners of your mat or maybe beyond the edges. Bend your knees so your toes point up towards the ceiling. Just like we did on our back in the very beginning, sway your toes to the left, to the center, and to the right. Back and forth, letting the heels drift over your hips. Eventually bring your legs back to stillness. Allow the tops of your feet to descend down to the earth. You can slide your feet back in. Take a breath in and a breath out. You can always stay here for a moment, letting the front edge of your body get heavy into the earth. Eventually you're going to lift your head and pull your hands back alongside your rib cage so you can rise up from the belly and walk over until you're on your sit bones once more. You can always pull that blanket or towel underneath your pelvis for a little bit of softness. Cross your legs. Place your hands on your knees. You can spend a moment here meditating if you want, or just take a couple of deep breaths, focusing on the way your body feels, the way your mind feels, letting go of any lingering tension in either until you're ready to head back out into your day. Thanks for practicing.